I want you to leave this video feeling so much better about yourself. Let's have an energy shift, a perspective shift that will actually help you to see the narrative in a way that benefits you. Because I know that it feels like you lost them. It feels really bad. It feels like you're the weaker party in this situation because maybe they pulled away, maybe they discarded you, maybe they shut down, maybe they changed and they weren't as willing to invest as they were at the start. And you feel like you lost that amazing chemistry, that amazing bond that was created at the beginning, and they shut down or whatever it was they did. And that does feel like a loss, and it is a loss. And the thing is that it's very easy to think that that's how it was always going to be. But someone who has suddenly shut down, slowly started pulling away, is actually showing you who they are and how they cope at this time in their life and their current capacity. And so that's more of who they are as well. And it's very difficult to see it like this because we actually see them and want to see them at their best and their full potential. And that's what you feel like you've lost, the potential of what it could be, but not actually who they were being right now. Okay. And remember you. Remember how amazing you are. Remember how invested and how lovingly you showed up. Remember how much you wanted this to work, the conversations that you tried to have. Remember how much you wanted to be seen, how much you wanted to be understood, and how willing you were to go the distance with this person. That is rare. They have lost you. It is rare to come across somebody who so wants this to work, right? Who's willing to go through the difficult conversations, who's willing to sit through those uncomfortable, disconnected times, because that is part of a relationship. You know, we go through periods of connection and we go through periods of disconnection, and it's all part and parcel of a healthy relationship, right? But when you're with somebody who hasn't got the awareness or the emotional capacity to sit with those periods of disconnection, then the relationship can't thrive. It only gets worse when we can't resolve conflicts, when we can't resolve those difficult periods of disconnection, when we can't come together again, or things are brushed under the carpet. Because avoidants tend to do this. You go to them with a feeling or an idea or something that you want to talk about, and if it's uncomfortable, they might dismiss it, they might put it down, they might say that it's not that important, and then you end up feeling unheard, unseen, and lonely in the relationship. It is lonely to be with someone who is so highly avoidant, because you are there trying to be authentic. You are there trying to be real. You are there expressing your truth, and they cannot see it. And so you feel invisible. Sometimes they gaslight you. Sometimes they say you're too sensitive. Sometimes they just don't even answer their phone. And sometimes that feels incredibly difficult to deal with when you so want to love this person. And that's a sad thing, because you want to be seen for the love that you have to give, right? That's a beautiful thing. Do not lose sight of that. Do not lose sight of that in this period of sadness and grief, that the potential that you saw at the beginning did not continue to grow, right? And remember that in this period where we're thinking about this person, we're losing connection to them because they've pulled away or whatever, it's very easy to see it as what it was and how it was at the beginning, and not see the times where you did not get your needs met, where you were left to kind of fend for yourself in your emotional world, and you did not have a partner who was there with you. For a healthy relationship to grow, both people need to be interested in the other's internal world, not to shame or judge or criticize each other, but to just have the awareness that two truths can exist at the same time and both are interesting to the other, even if you don't agree. You know, it's very difficult, I think, because we're not really taught these things about relationships. We're not really taught how to have this kind of mutual respect for each other's world, especially when we disagree. And then we go into adult relationships, and both of us at times are like, I don't know what to do here. I'm just going to guess. And this is where you might trip up on yourself and think, oh no, I could have done that. I should have done that. I should have said it like this. And you might be now thinking, what if I was the one that messed it up because I was too much. I tried too hard. I didn't give this person enough space. No, you can't spend your life tiptoeing around somebody's incapacity, right? You can't do that. The other person has to be willing too. There are two people in a relationship, not just you. And the person who is on the other side of the avoidance tends to try to figure things out, to try to fix things, to try and work out, how do I make this person feel safe enough to open up to me? How do I make this person feel safe enough to be vulnerable with me? How do I make this person feel safe enough to have this difficult conversation? I'm not judging them. I'm not criticizing them. I don't think they're bad. I do think they're good enough. And they, on the other end of it, think that everything you say, which is really a bid for connection, even if it is, look, this thing happened and I want to talk about it because it affected me, and I want our relationship to grow and get better. They will see that not as a bid for connection, but as a criticism, as a judgment, as a means to pull away, right? Because they find it really hard to be vulnerable. All of these things don't create intimacy in a relationship, right? When they do that, when they pull away, when they can't have those conversations, the relationship just goes downhill. You feel more and more lonely and more exhausted. So it is a benefit to you right now that they have pulled away, because it will give you the space to be able to see what you actually needed was the bare minimum, right? The bare minimum: mutual respect, conversations that are difficult at times, and understanding, or at least attempting to understand, the other person's point of view, right? With care, with actual care about your internal world. You need to be with somebody who cares about your experience and cares about your experience of them. You know, like whenever I'm with somebody, I care about their experience of me. I would be upset if I had upset them, and I'd want to resolve it, wouldn't you? You know, and avoidants tend to find that bit really difficult, you know, because they find it difficult to sit in that sense of, oh no, I might have upset somebody, I might have done something wrong, and I don't want to be shamed or blamed, right? And they can say very dismissive things. If they're a dismissive avoidant, it's harder because they dismiss things, and that makes it very difficult to have those conversations. If they're avoidant or a fearful avoidant, they might panic and shut down, right? So it doesn't matter how they avoid it. If they're avoiding it, it makes it very difficult for the relationship to grow. And I just want to show you all of these things that they might have been doing in order for you to see that that isn't a sustainable relationship. It's not sustainable for you, and it's not going to help them if you enable it to continue like that. The most loving thing you can do with relationships like this is give people a consequence to their actions, right? Or to their experience of you, right? Because if you allow people to just come back and come back and come back whenever they can't address things, because it feels better to be connected. Oh, okay, we'll laugh it off. And they say something nice, so they come back in and you're like, oh, thank God they're back. But they haven't actually addressed the issue with you. They haven't got to the root of the problem. They haven't looked at themselves. Then that will just repeat. And it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't get better. It just gives you this temporary relief. And that is how people get addicted to avoidance. That's the temporary kind of highs and the intermittent reinforcement that creates addiction. Yeah, this is why it's so hard to let go of them, because they come back and it's amazing and then it's good, and then they go away again. So they've pulled away, and what you've lost is a relationship that was not working, which is a good thing, right? You're still you. You're still full of love. You're still willing. You still have this beautiful heart and capacity to want to make things work. They have lost you. Now give this time to settle, right? Because this is not actually a loss. It's a step forward. It's a step forward. It is a loss in terms of, like, you grieve this, you grieve the potential that you felt it was. But it's a step forward because you get to now address within you, what do you need? What do you want? How do I express this going forward? What are my standards? What are my values? Then people meet you there, okay? No less. So this is an amazing learning curve for you and for them, hopefully. But in the meantime, you have to focus on you. You have to give yourself grace, give yourself patience, forgive yourself, have compassion for where you were at the time, and know that this is all a very important part of your journey back to you. In order to create a huge energy shift in this dynamic and to not experience this dynamic or this kind of situation ever again, coming back to you is exactly what you need, right? You start to feel more aligned with yourself, more confident to express your truth. And that is what we're going to do in the self abandonment trap, to free yourself from the obsession, to free yourself from the addiction, to free yourself from feeling powerless in a situation like this and actually feel more in control again. And remember how amazing you are. You are the gift. You are amazing, right? And I don't want you to forget it. And we're going to do this in a really special way using creativity, community, and education to regulate the nervous system. And this is your ultimate power move back to you, transforming relationship dynamics left, right, and center. Okay. And if you want to know anything about this, I've got 4 spaces left now, and you can find out all the information about that in the links below. I've also got some one-to-one spaces available at the moment because I've got a bit more space than normal. So you can also book a session or a package of sessions in the links below. And I'd love to see you in anything that I do. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.